The ballroom glittered like money. Crystal chandeliers spilled light onto white linen tables. Champagne flutes chimed softly, and a string quartet played something elegant and distant. The charity gala was invitation only, the kind of place where last names mattered more than first impressions. At the edge of the room stood Dr. Simone Cotter. She didn't wear diamonds, just a tailored midnight blue dress and a calm confidence that didn't ask for permission. Her posture was straight, her expression composed, her eyes observant. She was the CEO of one of the fastest-growing renewable energy companies in the country, and almost no one in the room knew it. Simone preferred it that way. She stood near the dessert table, listening politely as a donor droned on about tax write-offs. Across the room, a wealthy family laughed too, loudly. Richard and Elaine Whitmore, pillars of old money, flanked by their 17-year-old son, Preston. Preston was bored. He slouched in his chair, flicking peas from his plate with his fork, watching them bounce across the tablecloth. His mother laughed indulgently. "Preston, stop," Elaine said, smiling. "You'll ruin your jacket." "It's boring," Preston muttered. "All these people pretending to care." Richard chuckled. "You'll learn appearances matter." Preston's eyes drifted on, landed on Simone. She stood alone now, calmly sipping water. Something about her stillness irritated him. He leaned toward his mother. "Who's that?" Elaine glanced over. "No ID, probably staff. Or it's someone's. +1. And Preston smirked. He scooped a small piece of bread from his plate, rolled it between his fingers, then without much thought flicked it. The bread arced through the air and landed squarely on Simone's shoulder. Few people gasped. Simone froze. She looked down slowly at the crumb on her dress, then lifted her eyes. Preston burst out laughing. Elaine covered her mouth, eyes sparkling. "Preston? Oh my God!" she said between laughs. "You're terrible." Richard shook his head, amused. "Honestly." Simone felt the room tilt. A familiar heat rose in her chest, not anger. Exactly, but something older. Something she'd learned to swallow in boardrooms where she was underestimated, in meetings where her ideas were ignored until repeated by someone else. She turned fully toward the table. Preston grinned. Unapologetic. "Relax," he said loudly. "It was an accident." Simone met his eyes. "Was it?" she asked, calmly. Her voice was steady, not loud, not soft, just controlled. The laughter around the table faded, replaced by awkward murmurs. Elaine straightened. "I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it," she said dismissively. "Boys will be boys." Simone nodded once. "I see," she said. She brushed the crumb from her shoulder and turned away. People watched her go. Expecting tears, or anger, or a scene, she gave them none. She walked to the stage where the event coordinator was whispering frantically into a headset. "I'm ready," Simone said quietly. The coordinator blinked. "I'm sorry. I believe I'm scheduled to speak next," Simone said, offering a small smile. The coordinator glanced at her clipboard, then went pale. "Oh, Dr. Corte." Yes, of course." Simone stepped onto the stage. The room hushed. "Good evening," she began. "Thank you for supporting clean energy initiatives tonight." Richard Whitmore frowned. "Who is that?" he whispered. Elaine shrugged. "No idea." Simone continued. "My name's Dr. Simone Carter. I'm the founder and CEO of Carter Helios." A ripple moved through the crowd. Heads snapped up. Whispers spread. Carter Helios. The company that had just secured a multi-billion-dollar federal contract. The company Richard had been trying and failing to partner with for months. Richard's face drained of color. Elaine's smile collapsed. Preston's grin vanished. Simone spoke with clarity and warmth, explaining her mission, her journey, the communities her company uplifted. She spoke of dignity, of respect, of the cost of underestimating people. Her gaze swept the room and paused, just briefly, on the Whitmore table. "Tonight," Simone said, "is about generosity. But generosity isn't only financial. It's how we treat people when we think nothing is at stake." Silence. After the applause and thunder, Simone stepped down. She was intercepted almost immediately. "Dr. Carter," Richard said, voice tight, forcing a smile. "An incredible speech, truly." Elaine nodded rapidly. "So inspiring." Simone looked at them, expression neutral. Preston stood behind his parents. Suddenly, very small. "I believe your son threw food at me earlier," Simone said calmly. Elaine laughed nervously. "Oh, that children do foolish things, I'm sure." "You understand?" Simone tilted her head slightly. "I understand accountability." Richard cleared his throat. "Please," he said, lowering his voice. "Let's not make this uncomfortable." Simone's eyes sharpened. "It already was," she replied. She turned to Preston. "Why did you do it?" Preston swallowed. "I don't know. I thought." "Thought what?" Simone asked. "That you weren't important," he admitted. Barely audible. The words hung in the air. Elaine inhaled sharply. Simone nodded slowly. "Thank you for being honest," she said. "Do you know what I thought when it happened?" Preston shook his head. "I thought about how many times people laughed while disrespecting me. Simone said, and how long it took me to stop believing them. She looked at Elaine, and how laughter teaches children what is acceptable. Elaine's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, Elaine said, voice breaking. I truly am. Richard stepped forward, pride cracking. Dr. Kirtle, please. Whatever you want. A donation? A partnership? Simone met his gaze. I don't want anything, she said. I want you to remember this feeling. All of you. She looked at Preston again. Power isn't loud. It doesn't throw things. It carries itself with care. Preston nodded, eyes wet. I'm sorry, he whispered. Simone studied him for a long moment. Apologies matter, she said, but growth matters more. She turned to leave. Dr. Carter, Elaine called out, tears streaming now. Please can you forgive us? Simone paused. Forgiveness wasn't automatic. It was a choice. Yes, she said finally, but forgiveness doesn't erase lessons. She walked away, her back straight, her steps unhurried. Across the room, the Whitmores stood stunned Wealth, suddenly feeling very small. Weeks later, Preston asked an intern in Padet, a non-profit Simone supported. He wrote her a letter, handwritten, about learning humility. Simone accepted, because redemption, like respect, must be earned. And the moral lingered long after the gala lights dimmed. True power is revealed not when others bow to you, but when you choose dignity over revenge and turn disrespect into a lesson that changes lives.